Have you ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I could play a game based off an obscure 80s pseudo-sport with characters from an obscure 80s cartoon owned by Hasbro? If you have some very specific, long-winded thoughts, but I have the game for you. Rollergames. Now the plot, that I totally didn't make up, is there are 3 evil roller derby teams that stole the roller derby grand prize of infinity dollars and have turned the local city into the biggest death-filled roller derby rink ever. It's up to 3 teams to take them down and get that money back. Now there are 3 teams to pick from. Hot Flash, insert menopause joke here, starring Gem of the Rollergames fame. Not wanting to be upstaged by her rival, Pizzazz leads the Rockers, and then the 3rd team, T-Birds, because he couldn't decide on a better name than his car, is led by generic intern roadie Steve. You know Steve. He's pretty big in the show. Yeah, that guy. All 3 of them are in it for their own personal gain. Gem is out there to get money to save her orphan kids from dying on the street or something. Steve's out there to hook up with Gem, and Pizzazz just wants to beat her rival and rub it in her face. So clearly she's the true hero of this story. The artistic style is fairly nice. All the characters look different, the worlds look colorful and well defined. There are numerous different enemies you'll run into too. Other roller derby players, insane managers, bikers, evil genetic clones, and Solid Snake because... yeah, I don't know either. Each level has a different feel as well. One minute you're defeating some crazy manager guy. Next thing you know, you're skating on the local highway trying to dodge a helicopter from dropping stuff on you. It's got some neat, variable levels. The soundtrack is pretty good. I think Level 3's theme sounds like it could be something out of Mega Man. If nothing else, that's a sign of quality. The sound effects can go die in a hole, though. They're not bad by any means, but they're repetitive and not really good. For the most part, the game controls simple enough. It's a basic brawler, so you move your character with the directional pad. You also have a jump and a punch button. If you hit the 2 together, you get to use your character's special ability. Each character has a unique special ability. Gem performs a flip of some description. Steve performs a belly flop because no one actually cared to give Steve an actually good special ability. And Pizzazz tries to pull off her best Liu Kang impression. Per life, you're limited to 3 uses of your special attack. This is kinda neat though, because it adds a sort of strategy element to how you approach fighting. If you use them right away, you might not be able to survive a fight later. And they can really help when you're really in trouble, because they do a lot more damage than basic attacks. But that said, if a fight is frustrating, you're gonna want to use it just to get through it. So you have to manage your resources a little bit, because you only have 3. The problem with the controls is the game tries to present itself with kind of realistic roller skate action, in that it takes a few seconds to build up your momentum, and it takes a few seconds to stop. Now this, in and of itself, is actually pretty cool. It sort of leads to the immersion of a game based around roller skating, and that's cool. Unfortunately, the game's not entirely a brawler either. It's actually about half brawler, half platformer. And precise platforming, when you can't control the precision of your character's jumps, is a bad combination. So in the end, you'll try and make jumps, but something will slow you down or something. And you won't be able to make the jump because you didn't get enough initial momentum to make the jump. Or you'll get hit by something in midair and just fall in the pit. Or sometimes you'll land on a platform and you'll keep rolling off. That's kind of the biggest problem this game has. It's got some cool concepts, but it just feels like the game wasn't built around these concepts. And because of it, it suffers. Because there's a lot of instant death nonsense combined with precise platforming, it just becomes an exercise in memorization and frustration. And that's no fun. And sometimes the world just implodes on itself. There really isn't too much replayability to be had in this game. There's only 6 levels, and I can tell you level 3 gets frustrating enough. So unless you're really nostalgic about this game, it's not gonna hold your attention for too long. I can only recommend this to fans of NES brawlers who've grown tired of Double Dragon, because this game does have a few neat things, but ultimately the platforming kinda kills it. If you are gonna pick this up, don't spend more than a couple bucks on it. Now, because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to spoil the special character endings for the plot that I totally didn't make up, maybe. If you're playing as Gem, she ends up winning the money and giving it to her orphan kids and working herself to the bone day in and day out just to keep earning money for them. If you play as Steve, Gem, being the smart businesswoman that she is, tricks him out of all his money and he gets nothing. And our heroine Pizzazz, when she wins, she rubs it in Gem's face, makes her feel as bad as possible, but then she has a moment of great realization. She has all the money she'll ever need. She doesn't need this. Upon realizing this, she decides to go to Japan, give it to a bunch of less fortunate inner-city kids, teach them how to skate, and they form the GGs. And this is clearly the canonical ending, because I can't accept a world without. Now, if you've learned anything from this video, it should be what you learned from the cartoon. Women with green hair and war paint are oddly attractive. I'll see you next time.